Hello.
Hello. Yes, ma'am. Please start.
Okay. Good morning, one and all. I, Mrs. Rita Raut, coordinator of One with FTP, find extreme pleasure in welcoming you all in day 2 of this 5 days program organized by Mathematics Department of Government College of Engineering, Nagpur. After yesterday's session by Mr. Khandari sir on live demonstration for Maple, it turned out to be very informative. I hope that you all came to today's session with even more enthusiasm to learn and gain more knowledge. Our speaker for today is a very dynamic personality, and it is very difficult for me to introduce him in few words considering his unending achievements. Despite that, I take extreme privilege in introducing Dr. Shyamkant Vasudev Rao Anwane sir, Associate Professor and HOD Physics of Sri Shivaji Science College, Nagpur. He did his MSc Physics in 1992, and in 2000 he completed his PhD from Nagpur University. He made prestigious senior research fellowship twice by Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi. He has visited Singapore, Turkey, USA, and many more countries for different academic assignments. He has participated about 48 conferences and seminars of national and international level and has been a member of organizing committee of national and international conference. He is very close to student, and to reach out the student at large, he has written 4 books, and out of them 2 books are recommended by Amravati University in the curriculum of first year and second year BE program. He has contributed a chapter entitled Solid Electrolytes, Principles and Application for research book titled Energy Materials. We all know that today's topic is differential equation using Maple. And respected Anwane sir, presently running a UGC-sponsored career-oriented course titled Mathematical Modeling using Maple. In 2018, he was nominated on the board of ambassador by Maple Software. Now, I request Anwane sir to bless us with his knowledge.
Thank you very much, madam, for your kind words.
Thank you, sir.
Now I should share the screen first. Today I'm going to deal with differential equations using Maple. In fact, my perspective is not to tell you differential equations, but my perspective is to tell you how Maple engine can help us in solving differential equations and understanding them to a better extent when we can play with the boundary conditions and other things. Now I would go to my presentation. Now I'm going to deal with the presentation. I welcome all the participants on behalf of Government Engineering College, Nagpur and Binary Semantics, Mumbai. Today we are going to deal with differential equations using Maple. Here I would like to read the definition of differential equations as it is given in the books. A differential equation is an equation containing the derivative of one or more dependent variables with respect to one or more independent variables. Here you can see few differential equations. The first one is dy by dx is equal to twice xy. This is a first order differential equation in which you can do variable separation and perform integration and solve that differential equation very quickly. But certain equations are not simple to handle. Basically, solving differential equation is itself a very stupendous task, and some differential equations mankind could not solve, and therefore the extent to which we could make devices and applications is to the extent we could solve the differential equations. That is the main thing regarding differential equations. Now, the second differential equation appearing here is x into dy by dx equal to y minus 1. This is also a first order differential equation and looks linear because the power of x and y involved here is unity. This one is a second order differential equation. We are quite familiar with this and we are going to handle this for certain physical situations. Now in the second row, we have partial differential equation, and as this is a partial differential equation, it is depending upon, as said in the definition, more than two independent variables. So here y is an independent variable, x is also independent variable, and the dependent variables are u and v. Probably this u is function of y, and it's quite possible that this u may be function of x and y as well. Same applies to v. Here y was a dependent variable, here y is independent variable. That is the difference. Now in the this is the second equation wherein we are having differentiation with respect to x and y operated on each other. Here this is a second order differential equation. Now differential equations can be classified into various categories based on different perspectives. As we have seen, the very first criteria is to isolate differential equations into two classes, like ordinary differential equation and partial differential equation. The second criteria is order, the order of derivative. If it is first order, we can call that first order ODE or first order PDE. We can have second order differential equation also. We can have higher order differential equations where we can talk in terms of n, and we are talking about nth order derivative, and those differential equation, even the third order, fourth order differential equations becomes quite difficult to sort out. Then linear, non-linear differential equation, I shall cite example of these differential equations. Similarly, I'll cite you examples of homogeneous and non-homogeneous differential equations. So basically, ordinary differential equations, which are I'm going to call ODE, they can be classified on the basis of their order, first order, second order, higher order, whether the exact solution is possible, whether it is linear or not linear, whether that fits into a specific type, kind of Bernoulli differential equation, which is of this particular type you can see on your screen. And the second order can be further classified. So this is an endless process of making categories and all that. Here, this equation, an is a coefficient which is a constant quantity. You can look at an as a number from the number system, and we are making nth order derivative of y with respect to x. So here x is independent variable and y is dependent variable. So then we are going on decreasing the order of derivative, and we are coming up to 0. 0 means no differentiation. So that is equal to g of x. So here we are talking about nth order linear differential equation with constant coefficients. Sometimes it is quite possible in certain physical situations that these constants are, these coefficients are not really constant. They are function of or independent variable. So here, this is an example of nth order linear differential equation with variable coefficient. And as here the independent variable is only one, this leads to the class ODE. Now, this is the example, the first equation appearing here, y to the power 3 in the bracket. This means that this is third derivative of third order derivative of y, that is d3y by dx cubed minus 5 times d2y by dx square minus 22 times dy by dx plus 56y equal to 0. So this is a shorthand way. When a physicist is putting dash, it means that it is a derivative with respect to x space coordinate, and when a physicist is putting a dot over the letter, then we are talking about time derivative. So this is the third order, higher order, I mean to say this is third order homogeneous ordinary differential equation. And this is the boundary condition y of x, when x is equal to 0, it is 1. So in short, I can say y of 0 is equal to 1. Then y dash of 0 is equal to minus 2. It means that dy by dx at x equal to 0 is minus 2, and so on. Similarly, here we have another differential equation y 3 dash, that is third order derivative, and so on. This is a similar kind of equation equal to a constant 12 minus 32 e to the power minus, this should be x basically, as I'm using dash here, this should be x plus 2 into e to the power 4x. So on right hand side, instead of 0, we have some functional dependence on our independent variable. So this is higher order, rather third order non-homogeneous ordinary differential equation. Now, as mathematics people consider the differential equation and they go on for solving them, similarly, I would like to solve these differential equations using Maple for you, so that you can have not exactly hands-on experience, you can have a feeling of how we deal with the differential equations in Maple and how easily this can solve the differential equation for us. I guess binary semantics is going to offer you the license code for a few days, and you can try after installing that particular thing, you can try using that for your exercise. Now I'll switch to the Maple software. Here, what I have done, I have already initiated Maple software. So here, I'm going to raise that differential equation for you, and I'm running the command restart semicolon. This ensures that the memory for calculation is restarted, so previous memory it has cleared off, and I'm writing that differential equation here. When this command is executed, we have reached to the same differential equation that we left here. Just have a look at this third order derivative minus 5 times and so on. So here I'll get back to this Maple worksheet. So the command is that DIFF means differentiation. Inside bracket, I'm writing y of x. So I'm differentiating the function y of x 3 times with respect to x. So that leads to third order derivative. Minus 5 times DIFF inside bracket y of x comma x comma x. So we are having second order derivative minus 22 times DIFF y of x comma x. So first order derivative plus 56 y of x equal to 0. So in return, we have a feedback that Maple has numbered this as equation number 1, and I have labeled this equation ODE1, that is ordinary differential equation 1 colon equal to. So it has assigned a name to this differential equation ODE1. Now, what all I have to do to solve this differential equation is to exercise the command dsolve inside bracket ODE1. Now, those students of mathematics and professors of mathematics must have an idea that to solve this differential equation, you have to work out the particular solution and that perfect integral. So here, by exercising that dsolve command, in I guess in 1.81 seconds, here you can see it has returned us the solution of differential equation. So C1 is a constant into exponential of twice x plus C2 constant into exponential of 7x plus C3 into exponential of minus 4x. So the differential equation is solved. Here C1, C2, C3 are the constants which are offshoots of the differential equation solution, and if you like to work them out, you should sublime the boundary condition. Now boundary condition we also have devised, that is this I have picked up from some book. Y of 0 is equal to 1. It means that at x equal to 0 the value of y is unity. Then dy by dx at x equal to 0, that you can call kind of slope at x equal to 0, is minus 2. And second order derivative of y of x at x equal to 0, this is the syntax here. You have to write for second order derivative at particular value of independent variable x, and that is in fact 0. X equal to 0, the value is minus 4. So here I am returning this command, I'm executing this command so that the boundary conditions are known to the Maple software, and boundary conditions are known to Maple by name BCS1. So this one merely reminds me that I'm having this boundary condition for first differential equation. Now I am seeking a solution and I want to assign name to that solution. So sorry, solution 1 is assigned as dsolve inside the bracket, inside curly bracket ODE1 comma BCS1 curly bracket complete, and the first bracket completed, then semicolon. So this is the simple command which we can exercise to solve the differential equation for the boundary condition that we have raised, and we can look for the solution. So quickly, again in same time, 1.8 seconds, it has returned us the value of the solution of the differential equation, which is y of x equal to 13 upon 15 e to the power 2x. So here you can relate that the constant C1 is 13 upon 15, constant C2 is minus 16 upon 55, and constant C3 is 14 upon 33. Now if you like to see the plot of this function y of x, I'm writing a simple command, plot inside bracket right hand side of solution 1. So solution 1 is this one, an equation y of x equal to something, and the right hand side is this one. So right hand side of that I am considering for plotting. So here I have picked up RHS of solution 1, and I prefer that x should roll from 0 to 0.5, and then I can see the plot. So here Maple has returned the plot, and if you like to see a grid line, you can raise the grid line and precisely study that. If you like to plot this for the range from 0 to 5, you can exercise that. So you can consider the region wheresoever you are interested, and the plotting can be tailored as per your requirement. Now if you like to change some boundary condition, you can very well change that, and you can exercise the running of command for that particular equation, and again you will be able to see the graph of the solution in terms of the new boundary condition. Now here my equation should have been this should be x. So here I'll show you the differential equation as inhomogeneous differential equation, where I'm going to run this command ODE3. So here dx cube operated on y of x minus 12 times d2y by dx square plus 48 dy by dx minus 64 y equal to 12 minus 32 e to the power minus 8x plus 2 times exponential of e to the power 4x. So here I have written equation in terms of t. I should have written in terms of x. Now desolve. After exercising maple command, I can obtain the solution. Here you can see that the third order differential equation is involving three unknown constants. And if you want to eliminate these constants, you have to substitute some boundary condition. Now, same boundary condition I have exercised here, and here I can obtain the solution. And here you can see that the constants C1, C2, C3 have disappeared, and some numbers like 505 upon 432 has occurred in place of C1 and so on. And then you can see the graph of this particular differential equation. So this is how you can get interested into. Now suppose I want to see the graph between 0 to 0.3, and I want to study the minima of the graph. So you can choose like the way you want, and here you can settle down the observation for minima. Here there are a variety of possibilities that you can exercise for plotting. Now I shall return back to my presentation. So here, these are the two differential equations which I have raised to tell you homogeneous and non-homogeneous type of differential equations. And now I want to proceed further to the another issue of ODEs. Now the first order differential equation, it is as appearing on the screen. Here we have dy by dt equal to a into y. It means that it is y of t. Basically here y is y of t. I'm strictly writing y, but y is function of time. So dy by dt is equal to a into y of t plus some other function q of t. So q is a function and it depends on the variable, again t. So this is a kind of differential equation. Now dy by dt is equal to f of y. Here f of y is another function, and this function can be y square. If f of y is equal to y square, then dy by dt equal to y square. This will be a non-linear first order differential equation. It depends on the function. Now we can have a kind of second order differential equation. This is very interesting to physics people because it represents simple harmonic motion, which is the basic thing that we discuss in physics. Now m y two dots on the top. This means that it is d2y by dt square. So m into d2y by dt square plus b into dy by dt plus k y, where y is function of time, equal to 0 or equal to some function which is function of time. So this again second order differential equation which represents damped motion. Now these are the differential equations which are having constant coefficients. Here m is mass, b is also another constant. We shall cite it proper name, which is a damping coefficient, and k in physics we call this as spring constant and all that. So these equations are good equations basically because this equation is linear. The coefficients are constant and the yield is a smooth function. The solution of this differential equation y of t will have a smooth function, and it is representing a physical situation. That is very interesting. So unlike mathematics, here in physics we go for those equations which are having some physical significance. They are raised out of some physical situation, and then the solution is also of interest. Now, differential equations, single differential equations we have seen. Then there are some physical situations in which we have a series of dependent differential equations which are interdependent on each other, or sometimes they may be independent of each other. So here in this situation, simple representation y is representation of y kind of a vector. Sometimes you need this n, not 3. I mean, if we are talking about 3-dimensional coordinate system, then y1, y2, y3 will be okay. But sometimes you need a pretty large number of equations. So that generalized case I'm considering. So here y is array of equations, and then this is differentiated with respect to time. That is equal to some constant a. I can call this as eigenvalue, and then again this array of equations, and this is a matrix. If I have n number of equations, then this matrix will be n by n. Now, similarly, the similar situation can prevail in second order or even higher orders. Now, we shall have a little introduction with partial differential equations, which in short I'm going to call PDE. And here I have Z as a dependent variable, or you can call function, and it depends on independent variables. Here X is independent variable, and at the same time Y is also independent variable. So you can differentiate Z once with respect to X or with respect to Y. So that differentiation, when you are operating with respect to X, you treat Y as a constant. That is we call partial differentiation. And so here we have two ways in which Z can be differentiated. Once with respect to X, second time with respect to Y. You can further differentiate the same thing, so that leads to second order derivative, and second order derivative with respect to another variable. Then you can have a kind of mixed differentiation. First I am differentiating with respect to X, and then I am differentiating with respect to Y, and so on. So this leads to mixed differentiation, and that leads to equation, a differential equation, which we are going to call PDE. Now, PDEs are very important as regards to the application area, which falls either in science or engineering. And the most important equations that we are dealing in physics and in most of the engineering programs, they are Laplace's equation, heat equation, and wave equation. Now, I would like to show you the heat equation is like U is function of this U is function of X and T. So first order derivative of U with respect to T equal to second order derivative with respect to X operated on U. This is a famous equation in physics which is used for which is known as heat equation. Similarly, when we have second order derivative of U with respect to time equal to second order derivative of U with respect to space coordinate X, this leads to one-dimensional wave equation. And if you go in for three-dimensional, then this is a famous Laplace's equation, which often we deal in physics. Now, I would like to smoothly sail into the regime of differential equations, and I would like to go to 11th standard level and write a differential equation which is Newton's law of cooling. Everyone is very familiar with Newton's law of cooling, which in fact states here, you have a statement, I'm reading it for you. The rate of cooling of a body is proportional to the difference between its temperature and the temperature of the surrounding. Now, there we write d theta by dt, that is the rate of cooling. And that is equal to, that is directly proportional to the difference of the temperature. Theta is temperature of the object and theta 0 is the ambient temperature. For example, the room temperature is 30 degrees centigrade, and here theta is temperature of the system and temperature of the body, and it is function of time. So here time is independent variable, theta is a function, or you can call dependent variable. In Maple I have written capital T in place of theta, so you can relate capital T of small t as theta of t there. And if you like to replace the proportionality sign, you can use equality sign and replace it with minus k. The meaning of minus is that it is rate of cooling. If it is rate of heating, then the story is totally different. It is not Newton's law of cooling. Then there will be heating process, and this minus sign will be replaced by the plus sign in that case. So let us smoothly go through how we deal with this simple differential equation, wherein separation of variables we carry out, and then one step integration we carry forward. And a constant of integration is the offshoot of solution of differential equation, I say. And we have to work with that constant. Here, this constant is initially appearing in our discussion. K. The rate of cooling is directly proportional to theta minus theta 0, and K is the constant of proportionality. And I shall separate the variables. I shall take this theta minus theta 0 on left hand side, and then I shall bring dt on this side. So it will look as d theta divided by theta minus theta 0 equal to k times dt. So variables are separated, and we can proceed with integration on both sides. That will not hamper the equation. And the integration of dx upon x minus a will be log of x minus a. So kind of that formula I am exploring here. And integration dt will be t. Constant has nothing to do with this integration. And this k1 is the offshoot of solving differential equation. This can be worked out of the boundary condition. And this k also we can work out using another boundary conditions. So here we need in fact two boundary conditions. Though we are dealing with ordinary differential equation of first order, we need two boundary conditions because we are not knowing this k. Now, taking exponential on both sides, I'm just simplifying this equation, and here this is the final version. So theta, which is function of time, is equal to theta 0, which is room temperature, plus alpha. Alpha is e to the power k1. K1 is our constant of integration. This I am rewriting as alpha. E to the power k1 is alpha, and is multiplied by e to the power kt. So these constants are to be worked out from boundary conditions, and we shall now go to the Maple worksheet to deal with this equation. So here it goes. So the same stuff I'm discussing, and here I would like to raise a problem because I need boundary conditions. So if temperature of the air is 30 degrees centigrade and the substance, the body, cools from 100 degrees centigrade to 70 degrees centigrade in 15 minutes, we have to find out when the temperature will be 40 degrees centigrade. So I hope you understand the story, that the body is cooling from 100 degrees centigrade to 70 degrees centigrade in 50 minutes, and at what point of time it will touch 40 degrees centigrade? That is the question. So here I have written a series of meaningful commands so that I should not waste time here in typing and debugging my program. So I'm just executing it for you here. I'm using restart so that the earlier calculations, they are ignored, which we have done probably for homogeneous inhomogeneous equations. Now I'm entering the first equation. I have labeled that as EQ1, capital E, small q1. So I have to use the same thing to call the equation label to desolve it. Now this equation 1 is written in the display as d dt of t equal to minus k times inside bracket t of t minus 30. So the moment I execute desolve command on equation 1, I'm able to obtain the solution that we have done manually in the PowerPoint. That is the same thing which is reflecting here, 30 plus e to the power minus kt into C1. So the boundary condition is I'm starting the experiment of cooling, and the moment I start cooling, I'm switching my clock on, and that is the time t equal to 0. And when small t time is t equal to 0, that time capital T is 100 degrees centigrade. That is the boundary condition. So Maple has recognized that boundary condition as BCS, and equation 2 I'm having label which is having a command desolve inside bracket, inside curly bracket, equation 1 comma BCS and closure of both the brackets and end of the statement by semicolon. So when I exercise that, I get the solution 30 plus 70 into e to the power minus kt. So here the boundary condition has been entered, and BCS1. Now I am entering two boundary conditions that at small t equal to 0, the temperature is 100 degrees centigrade, and after the lapse of 15 minutes, 15 into 60 will be 900 seconds. So here I'm considering the equation in terms of seconds. So t of 0 is 100 and t of 900 seconds is 70. So here we have two boundary conditions, then desolve equation 1 for BCS. Then second boundary condition I'm plugging in, and now I'm interested in evaluating the constant. So solve equation 3. So the inner command is solve equation 3 for k, and then evaluate value of k in terms of a number. So here the number k is 0.000621 and so on. So now I want to substitute k in equation 2. This is our equation 2 where I want to substitute the value. So k is substituted back here. So this is the final equation that we have. And now our question is that find out when means time, when the temperature will be 40 degrees centigrade. So here I'm interested in finding this t, and t of capital T of that t is 40. So here I'm substituting t of t is equal to 40 in equation 5, and I want to solve that equation, simple equation, not the differential equation is already solved, and now we want to solve the simple equation for that t. So when I exercise this command, it returns me value 3129.5. that if you convert in minutes, it takes 52 minutes to attain that temperature of 40 degree. And now if you like to plot the graph, you can see the graph. And if you want to raise the grid line, you can see here. So 70 degree temperature is achieved in 15 minutes, which was 900 seconds. So here you can look at 900, and 40 degrees centigrade is achieved after 3000, which is precisely 3129. So if you like to see it for longer time, say if I want to see it for 5000 seconds, so I can very well do that. And here I can raise the grid, and I want the temperature 40 degrees centigrade. So here you can locate it is little above 3000, which is in fact 3129. Similarly, I shall go into the simple differential equation of population dynamics. I have cited the census of Nagpur for handling that. And the basic differential equation is that I shall directly go here and restarting the accumulator and the differential equation for population. The population dynamics is basically the rate of growth, that is population is directly proportional to the number of people present, and k is the constant of proportionality. So population is increasing, so nothing is decreasing, so here it is a positive sign. Now boundary condition is that when we are starting the count, for example, the bacteria culture we are talking in the beginning. So when we are starting our clock, that is the time t equal to 0, and then n of 0 is equal to n0. N0 means n suffix 0. So that is the starting number. And if you like, the solution of that differential equation is n of t equal to n0 e to the power kt. Again here we are encountering with two constants. One is n0, that is the basic number when we begin, that we should know at the outset. And then somehow from boundary condition we have to calculate this k, which is offshoot of the solution of differential equation. And you can realize that when we shall go through a problem. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 6 steps we are solving the problem. The problem is that in a bacteria culture, if original number doubles in 2 hours, in how much time it trebles? It becomes 3 times. So let's deal with the problem. So in 2 hours it doubles. So t is equal to 2. My quantity is in hours. I have to remember that while plotting. I have to realize that what is the system I'm using. So I'm substituting t equal to 2 in my solution 1. So here t equal to 2. So when I substitute t equal to 2, I get n of 2, that is equal to n0 into e to the power 2 times k. Here t is replaced by 2. Now in 2 hours the population is doubled, so n of 2 is twice n0. This is the basic thing. So n of 2 is equal to twice n0. So when we substitute that in the last equation, we obtain twice n0 equal to n0 e to the power 2k. So here n0 you can eliminate, you can divide the equation by n0, and it is eliminated out of the equation, and you are left with 2 equal to e to the power 2k. And now you can solve this equation. Equation 1, 2 you can solve for k, and I would like to see the value of that, so I'm not suppressing the result. So the solution is log of 2 upon 2. The evaluated numerical value of that, if I like, I have to use the command evalf, and the bacteria culture has that constant 0.34. And now I can substitute k in the basic equation. So n of t is equal to n0 e to the power 0.5 log of 2 into t. And now I have to find out the time capital T here is the time in which the number of bacteria becomes 3 times the initial. So here I have substituted that. when t is equal to capital T. So I want to find out what is capital T. So I can solve this equation. To solve this equation, I have to divide the equation by n0, so it will be eliminated out. And I can solve this for capital T. And in 3.16 hours, the bacteria will be trouble. So here I have solved one more example. I think I have to be a little fast. So second example I'm skipping, and radioactive decay also I'm skipping. I shall go to the important equation which physics people like, that is simple harmonic motion. Now first of all we shall deal with undamped simple harmonic motion. I'm clearing the accumulator, and then I'm exercising the first command. Now I have not written a differential equation. Here I have used a different command, and I have started with dSol. Inside bracket, I have written differential equation. And that differential equation is m into d2x by dt square equal to minus k into x. And I want to solve this for x of t, so comma x of t. So here you can relate omega is under root k by m. So sine of omega t plus cos of omega t, C1 and C2 are appearing. So as we have not defined any boundary condition, so the basic solution is superposition of sine and cosine function determined by C1 and C2. So here you need two boundary conditions to solve that. Now I shall straightly convert that problem into a real kind of problem where we have a mass of 100 kg and the spring constant K is 4900, and I want to substitute these values of M and K into the solution, and I want to look for the solution. So here C1 and C2, they are sitting as it is. I have only substituted mass and spring constant, and here this quantity is omega. This under root 4900 into under root 100 divided by 100. Now I have substituted in the next command boundary condition. I am again solving the equation. Now I am not substituting the boundary conditions separately. I am handling them along with the equation. The command I am using is dSol, and inside first bracket I have opened a curly bracket, and here I have written this differential equation. This part is differential equation, comma, I'm using the boundary condition x of 0 is equal to 0.01, or you can choose 0. I'll exercise that also. So I'm starting my spring action not in the middle. I mean at t equal to 0, the simple harmonic motion is not at 0, it is little off centered from the origin, and the first order derivative at t equal to 0, which is in fact velocity, is 1. When it is in 0, the velocity is maximum, it is little off. So this is being solved for x of t. So here you can see that the solution is reflected. X of t is equal to sine of 7t upon 7 plus cos of 7t upon 100. Now if you like to see the plot, you can use the command, right? Plot right hand side of solution 3 in the range 0 to 2. As the boundary condition started not at 0, so 0.1, you can see it here. So if you change the boundary condition, say to 0, then your plot will be starting from 0. If you set this to 1, that is the extrema position, and at extrema the velocity is 0, so I'm plugging in another value. So here you can see that there is a shift from sine function to cosine function. Similarly, we can deal with the damping equation. In undergraduate class, we are solving this differential equation in the classroom, and I guess it takes 2 periods of 45 minutes to solve this differential equation, wherein we are having standard solution of the differential equation and only handling the various parts that lead to the 3 categories. So here the differential equation is like m into d2x by dt square plus r, that is the damping constant, that is resistance kind of thing, into dx by dt. The damping is proportional to velocity. So dx by dt represents velocity and the damping coefficient is r, plus k times dx by dt equal to 0. So damping has come into picture. So the oscillations will have decreasing amplitude and that will diminish. So the solution I'm seeking using Maple. So quickly it has written the solution, which in classroom it takes about 2 theory classes of 45 minutes to solve the differential equation for students on the blackboard. Now I'm writing ODE2, wherein I'm substituting m equal to 100, r equal to 10, k equal to 4900 in ODE1. So I can look at the differential equation. So here you can see that m is replaced by 100 and so on. Now DSolve will give me solution of this differential equation, and the whole story depends on the boundary condition, whether you have damping or you are not having damping, deadbeat and all that. So boundary condition, the initial boundary conditions that I have used in the first solution, they are exercised here, and now I'm making a solution of the same thing for the given boundary conditions. And now I'm interested in looking at the plot where time rolls from 0 to 20 seconds. And it will be very interesting that we have the same sinusoidal function, which is not rolling from 0, it is rolling from 0 point, where is that boundary condition? 0.01. It is not starting from origin, it is starting from 0.01, and the amplitude is monotonically decreasing because of the damping constant, which is determined by r, and here we have selected r to be 10. If you increase it further, let us make it 100 and rerun our command. Now this time I don't want to start this from 0.01. I want to start it from 0. So boundary condition I have changed, and now here you can look that the moment resistance is increased, in 20 seconds the oscillations will diminish, and here you can look at the 2 plots simultaneously. So in the blue color it is diminishing very quickly because I have raised damping. Now if you decrease damping, you can show this kind of things to students, and you can exercise these things when you handle some problem and you are making some application of the solution of differential equation. So this is how it rolls around. Now the next thing that I want to show, Deepak ji, how much time? Again 15 minutes I am left with.
You can continue, sir. We can extend it for 10-15 minutes. I guess audience will not have a problem in that, because it's very good session. Yeah.
Now I shall go for one predator-prey model, which is known in the literature as Lotka-Volterra model. We shall raise the differential equation, and this is a really complicated differential equation. And Maple team has given a standard solution for that. And I'll show you how you can exercise that. Now we have 2 species living in the same habitat. predator and prey. Say a tiger is a predator and prey is deer. N of t is representing population of one species at time t. Then R is the growth rate of the species, like the population of bacteria we have handled. So the similar differential equation, you can say dn by dt is directly proportional to n of t of that particular species, and the constant of proportionality is R, which I'm calling now as growth rate, and K is a caring factor. So if good care is taken, then the growth will be higher. So that factor is also taken care of. And the growth rate of the species dn by dt is directly proportional to R into n of t. And Lotka and Voltra, they have considered a model in which they have written that dn by dt is equal to R into n of t, which is basically a population kind of model, into a factor k minus n of t upon k. So k is a caring factor here. Now, the caring factor is subtracted from n of t. So higher the population of, say, deer in the habitat, then food for them will be a problem. So k minus n of t, higher population will be controlled naturally because good care cannot be taken. Now, I'm looking for two species living in the same habitat. Now they are sharing the resources, and there will be a natural competition for sharing resources like food, water, and other things. So one species is having different food, and the predator is eating that food, another species. So here we have two differential equations. One is dn by dt equal to R into n1 into k1 minus n1 upon k1, and similarly is applied to the another species. Now I shall go ahead and I have written these equations for you so that there should not be any confusion. Now, two species, they are having dependence on another species. See, N1 is one species you can call prey. Now the population of prey depends upon what is the caring factor, how many preys are being raised in the habitat, and the resources will be limited. At the same time, the predator is coming into picture. So alpha times N2. N2 is the number of predators, and alpha is their attacking factor to kill the prey and to live in the same habitat. So our differential equation is a bit complicated. For N1, the rate of growth will be depending upon the species. Larger species will cause the habitat overloaded for food and other resources, and the predator is also coming into picture, which will control the population. So as the controlling factors are involved, they are with negative sign. At the same time, we can write similar differential equation for another species. Now, it all depends upon the mutual competition of both the species, and alpha and beta, they are the factors which are coming into picture when they are living in the same habitat. So this is a competition kind of story, and what will depend how that will go naturally, it depends. Now we shall argue that dn by dt is equal to 0. I mean to say that the rate of growth of one species is 0. I'm considering a time at which nothing is very seriously happening. I'm considering a small time t equal to, say, few hours, and during which there is no growth taking place, and I want to make a steady situation, and I want to understand how things are happening here. So same is applied for another species. Here it should be dn2 by dt. Now for this I have good equations, they are linear, and if I solve this differential part is disappearing quickly, as I'm considering growth rates to be 0. And these are simple equations, and these equations are plottable, understandable when I replace n1 by x and n2 by y, so I can go for good plots. And when they are converted into proper equations, here you can look for y equal to mx plus c, equation of line, where m is slope and c is a y-intercept. Now here, for the first species n1, so here I'm talking this equation for first species, and in the right part I'm talking for another species n2. So sorry, so y is equal to m is replaced by -1 upon alpha. So this is the slope of the line, and this is the y-intercept. So the similar situation for another species, minus beta is slope and k2 is another part, which is y-intercept. So here you can look for the steady state situation in which I'm considering alpha to be small. So 1 upon alpha will be large, and this is -1 upon alpha. So we are having a line which is like this declined line. In both the cases, we are having similar kind of lines. Now k1 upon alpha will be large. So here we are starting from this point. Now for two species, we are having this kind of situation for steady state, and we have variety of situations. And now we shall handle this problem in Maple. Now let us go into the Maple, and here I'm interested in talking about predator-prey model. So here that story is raised. I think I'll raise a different worksheet. I shall exercise the command restart, and then I'm using tools. Now this is a good exposure to the first time viewers, that we can use the menu in Maple. Here we have an assistant, and here we have a series of things at our disposal. Now I'm using a tutor, and in tutor I'm going to differential equations, and here I'm using DE plots. So this will enable me to use something which is already being done into Maple. Now damped harmonic oscillator is already popping here. Now I want to, I'll first handle this, and then I'll go to the predator and prey model. I want some animation kind of thing for damped harmonic oscillator. And here I'm having in return this pair of differential equations, where I have the first differential equation as x dot equal to y, and d that y dot is equal to minus mu y of t minus omega square x of t. This is the same equation we have used, but we have used some different constants. We have used m as mass, k as spring constant, and k upon m will be this omega square, and R upon M will be, I think, mu, something like that. So here I can play the animation, and here we are having the differential equation which is being solved for damped harmonic oscillator. Damped harmonic oscillator. Now I want to again go into the tools and tutor differential equation and D plots. Here I want to go in for predator and prey Lotka-Volterra model, where I want the animation, and here you can play the animation and you can see these two lines are exhibiting the growth and decay of population of the two species in the same habitat, where we have two constants, beta and see alpha and beta, and this is the third constant, C. So these constants are playing the role, and that is making how the population of the two species is rolling into the habitat. So here X is one species, and on right hand side we have the time scale growing, and on y-axis we have the growth of another species which is growing, and how the predator prey model is working, which is given by Lotka-Volterra. Now I would like to discuss one more model with you, that is the epidemic model, and I will exercise the animation of that. And here the epidemic model, I have shown you animation, and now I'm going back to my presentation where I'll tell you how the differential equation of Carmack-McKendrick epidemic model has been raised. It is also known as a SIR model, where S stands for susceptible population, I stands for infected population, and R stands for recovered population. Now the total population of the habitat, we can consider the case of coronavirus going globally, or you can consider coronavirus issue going in our country or our state or our district. Let us consider it for Maharashtra state, and N is the population of Maharashtra, where we have population divided into three categories: susceptible, that is population sensitive to corona. S is susceptible persons, I is the number of infected persons, and R is the number of recovered persons from the coronavirus at this point of time, say t equal to 0 now, and we have at that time this number, and sum of these numbers makes the population of the complete state of Maharashtra. Now here I want to raise three differential equations which are depending upon each other. S dot, that is ds by dt, that is growth of or decay of the susceptible persons. I dot is growth of infected persons, and R dot is growth of recovered persons. Now how the things are happening, we shall study. Now the number of persons recovering, now number of persons recovering is from infected. A person is infected and the infected person is recovering. So number of persons recovering is directly proportional to number of infected persons. And the constant of proportionality is gamma, and this is, you can call, recovery rate. Now the rate of growth of recovering persons is gamma times I with a plus sign. So it is, this number is growing. Rate of recovering persons is growing, and this depends upon, directly depending upon the number of infected persons. Now, number of recovering persons, this is decreasing the population of infected persons. So the rate of decrease of infected persons is directly depending upon gamma I. So if you talk in terms of growth, I have to consider negative sign. Now, the another story which is very important here to understand is newly infected persons. The number of newly infected persons depend upon infected persons I and the sensitive person. What I was calling this susceptible. So number of newly infected persons depend upon the susceptible persons and infected persons, and the pair of scientists Carmack and McKendrick proposed that newly infected, this is a simple model, newly infected persons is directly proportional to product of S and I. Now here in the differential equation we have encountered a problem that here we have number square. So to counterattack that, it is divided by total population so that our equation is balanced in terms of the dimensions. And the infection coefficient is beta. Now we shall introduce this di by dt, that is the rate of growth of infected persons is directly proportional to S and I upon n. The constant of proportionality is here, and we have to subtract the recovering persons from that. So this part is complete. It is subtracted from, I mean to say that the rate of growth of susceptible persons, it is in fact a rate of decrease of number of susceptible persons is depending upon this number. So here we have three differential equations which are interdependent on each other. So here this is called as Puffin, the set of differential equations which is depending on each other and need to be simultaneously solved. So this is a quite I mean difficult kind of problem, though it is a simple model that Maple team has solved for us. So I am replacing S by X, I by Y, and recovering persons by Z variable. So here I can look for three differential equations in terms of X, Y, Z, and here we can proceed to plot that using Maple. So here I have already shown you that X is being plotted on X-axis and Y is being plotted on vertical axis, and the number of SIR models, susceptible persons, are reducing with time, and at the same time the number of infected person I is increasing. So you can see here that number of susceptible persons are decreasing, infected persons is increasing, and that is settling down. Here to solve this, Maple team has used beta equal to 2 and gamma is replaced by capital G because gamma is reserved for some other purpose in Maple. So here you can use gamma. They have used capital G, and that is being selected for G equal to 1. So here when we are talking about the infection coefficient beta, so when we go for a lockdown kind of thing, we are trying to control beta, and the way you control beta you can exercise how things are moving up. So here beta has been selected to be 2. If you take beta smaller, then the height of this curve will reduce. If you consider beta to be larger, so this will go in the higher way. So here you can see the small arrows that are considered in the plot. So depending upon that beta factor, you can rule the things. I think I have tried a lot to plot this 3-dimensional animation, but I could not do that. But I could find some solution that is being provided by the Maple team. So here we have a number of such solution. House warming model. You can select that and you can play the animation button and you can see the animation of how house warming model works. So all that you need to understand the differential equations first. Then if you understand the differential equations, then you can have the standard library where they are solved, or you can independently solve that. I have given you idea how you can solve the differential equations, ODE or PDE, and you can exercise these solutions for your new problems. I mean, where you are not having the solution of that kind of differential equation in the book, you can exercise this Maple tool to solve that. Now, whatever I have planned, I have skipped certain things. I want to just give you the glimpse that this I have planned to show you LCR circuit differential equation, which is in fact damped harmonic oscillator kind of this thing. I just quickly want to show you the general relativity problem, which is I have picked up from Mr. Wang's book, and I want to show you that. The Schwarzschild solution of the differential equation, which is based on Einstein's field equation, one needs to understand general relativity. For that, those who have worked on the problems of general relativity and solved the differential equation, which is known as Einstein's field equation, you need a huge amount of efforts to solve the differential equation. Here I am ruling only a bunch of 5-6 commands for you, and by virtue of that you will be able to see a big calculation is being performed in the background. I'm choosing r theta phi t, in fact t r theta phi coordinates, that is spherical coordinates and time coordinate. This is a 4-dimensional system we are having, and we are representing that in terms of a metric. I will not suppress the output. So here we have the 4x4 metric wherein we have 16 elements, and now I'm keying in the elements and we can create the matrix. So this is the metric, and for this we can use tensors GR, already developed library by Maple people, and we can find out the entire solution here. The solution is being found out, and now I want to display the solution. So you will see that a big solution has gone through. Out of that, I have displayed the Christopher symbol of second kind. Zero solutions are not being displayed here, only non-zero solutions are being displayed. And then we can have the geodesic equation, which you can see. This is the geodesic equation we have had for this particular thing. And in the next file, I'm quickly going to show you the plot and the animation. So here, this problem has been solved in the book of Wang. This book is a Bible kind of thing for those who want to explore physics using Maple. This is the function he has used, and he's exercising the solution, making some differentiation. Most of the outputs are suppressed, and the important things are being displayed. And at the end, here mass of the object is unity, gravitational constant is unity, speed of light is unity, and for that particular case we are going to have a plot. So those who are familiar with general relativity, they can understand this solution. And here I want to show you one animation which is being evaluated, and the second part is being evaluated, and I want to display the both parts, P1 and P2 together, and I can play that animation for you, where the motion in geodesic has been displayed. So to understand that, you need to have background of general theory of relativity. Now I'm coming on the camera webcam, and I would like to have interaction with you, and if time permits we can have some discussion. So over to you, Deepak.
Thank you, sir. It was very interesting and very enlightening session. I hope each and every attendee must have enjoyed this session, and they must have gained a lot of knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many activities are there? Here I can see 79.
Right now, yes, yes. So we have some questions. We have
Right.
so many questions, but we'll try to take couple of questions so that we'll be able to then wind this session. So we have one question from Professor Bharat Raj Jaiswal, and he
Okay.
wants to understand: can we solve non-linear PDE given in some other coordinate system, like spherical polar coordinate system or in cylindrical coordinate systems?
Yes, indeed, we can solve. In the background, some mathematics is working, and that mathematics is, I mean, if there is a solution, Maple team, which is working, I think in Canada, they are providing solutions, and whatever has been solved by mankind, the entire library they have embedded into this software. So only those solutions, those partial differential equations which are yet not having solutions, they are definitely not here. But whatever is solvable, that you can try with. And this tool is so wonderful that you can play with various parameters and run that. Huge mathematics is being solved for you, and you can have a bird's eye view what is happening, what factor is causing what, and all that. Yes.
Okay, so we have another question from Professor Daik Shadab, and he wants to understand how to solve coupled PD or PDEs.
Yes, this coupled PD, I have Lotka Voltra model is a coupled PD. So you can generate command. I would like again to share the screen and show you that. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I shall go for a new file. Document mode. Here I'm using a command restart, and first increase the size of the font so that you can see. So here I can restart, then I can use tools. I can call tutor, I can call I want tutor differential equations, and here I have a ODE analyzer. I can key in the equation, I can process them, I can see the solutions. So here I shall go back to Lotka Voltra model, and I shall go for DE plot. So here I am having something which I have shown you. Here I want Maple command as my output, and I'll press quit. So here this Maple command is generated for me. So I can press here enter, and I can play the same. I have pasted the same command. Now it is appearing in black. Earlier command generated was in blue. So I can exercise this. So here the plot is out of this command. Now I can play here with various parameters. Just a moment, I want to connect the battery to the charger. So here I can play here. This is the command. I can play here with the differential equation. I can play here with time scale. I can play here with the boundary conditions and all that. So boundary condition here is in form 0.0, 0.3, 0.3. So you can play here the way you want.
Okay. So we have another question from Professor Vinod Varghese, and he wants to understand, can we go with fractional order differential equation?
Which one?
Fractional order differential equation.
Fractional order, I have not exercised that, and I haven't yet seen fractional order. But yes, we can contact with the Maple team at the back end, and we can ask a question. There is a forum wherein we can post such question. Even I am not knowing. To be very honest, I have not used it. If something is there in mathematics, then I can tell you that Maple team must have worked on that, and that must be available. So here, if you can see my screen, we can seek help and fractional order differential equation. So this is the same thing I'm using to find, and it is showing that yes, so the fraction sorts the differential polynomial with increasing rank. So I guess that it is there. So an example, if you can see on my screen, some example is also given with differential algebra and tools and all that. So here you can find a bunch of commands which are basic commands, and yes, you can use that.
Yeah, we have another question. I guess this question is from Professor Suresh Ramchandran, and he wants to understand, can we get step-by-step solutions in Maple?
Yes, indeed, I have shown you we get the step-by-step solution, but the way we deal that on blackboard or on paper, as I said, particular integral, particular solution and all that, I think that is not possible. It returns the final answer. But there
I
is
would like to add. I would like to
yes.
add something to this. When it comes to linear equations, we surely have step-by-step solutions, which will give you hints also. If you're not able to proceed to next step, it gives you hints also. And at the end, it will give you a solution with what are the rules that are being applied to solve this solution. So for linear
And
equations, surely it
now,
has step-by-step.
now I remember that there is a template wherein you can key in your equation and you can process that. You can say differentiate this equation or integrate this equation, take this on right hand side, take this, and so equation manipulator is there, and you can manipulate equation, and I guess that can be done. Yes, it can be done. You can manipulate equation in Maple. You can go step by step. Yes.
We'll take one last question. It's from Professor Vishakha Asatkar, and she wants you to suggest some reference book for Maple.
The reference book is by Wang. I'll try to show you that book. I'll connect my pen drive here, and I have e-copy of that book that is available on internet, and I'll show you the face of the book. A wonderful big book is available. I'm waiting for the pen drive to be placed. Yes. So here I have e-books, and I want to search for a book by Wang. So this is a wonderful book. It is handling problems. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So here on the screen, that book is, you can see Physics with Maple. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Frank W. Wang. This PDF version of this book is available, and you can learn a lot of things. The last animation on general relativity that I tried to show you, I have picked up from this. He is handling almost every topic of, he is touching almost every topic of physics. So this is a wonderful book. I recommend you can download this book. Deepak will give some days license so that you can explore Maple 2020 for a few days. And finally, it is a business. I think he want to sell the book, and we have to, sell Maple license, and the user has to buy that.
Okay, so I guess there are so many different questions, but time is not allowing us to take all the questions. So
Okay.
I assure all the attendees that we'll address all the questions separately through mail, and I would like Professor Raut to take over from here. Hello, Professor Raut.
Before Professor Raut, I would like to show you, I would like to tell you that on YouTube, I am having a channel with my name, Shamkant Anwani, and you can see some basic lectures of Maple here, and if you can listen to certain things, then you will be able to. Here I am having Maple introduction, Maple lecture 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. I think 5, 6, 7 lectures are there, and if you listen to that, you will be able to have basic things by virtue of video. And if you can read Wang's book, that's the Bible, I would say. Over to you, Deepak.
Thank you. So I would request Professor Raut to take over from here. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All this outset, I want to thank Dr. Anwani sir for guiding us about how to obtain solution of various type of differential equation and how we can obtain draft of the solution using boundary condition with the help of Maple software. Sir, explain in a very easy way how to use Maple to solve the problems related to Newton's Coulomb law, population dynamics, radioactive decay, and many more. And at the end, the example related to corona was very interesting. I'm sure that this session proved out to be very beneficial for all of us. Thank you, sir. I want to thank Kumthekar sir, our principal, for their support. I want to thank convener of the program and HOD of Mathematical Department, Dr. Dadwal sir, for their time-to-time guidance. Last but not the least, I want to thank each and everyone, all the committee members and the coordinator. That brings us to the end of the today's session. I hope you all had a good time learning and hoping to see you all tomorrow at 11 for day 3 session. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.